Hey there, this is the One Boom, and today we have a message from our sponsor, and our sponsor is Manscaped. There are a ton of nasty stereotypes about gamers and the way that we look and smell, and I honestly fit most of the stereotypes, but not where it counts, especially now with the Lawnmower 3.0 below-the-waist waterproof skin-safe trimmer. This thing is safe for your skin, so no nicks, it's rechargeable, it is waterproof, and it moves so damn fast, so damn clean, and pretty damn quiet for how fast it's moving. It also has a built-in flashlight, which I say this every time I do one of these promos, it is actually convenient. They also have the Weed Whacker, which uses the same charger. It's skin safe. I've never really owned a nose hair trimmer before. I always just sort of winged it, but you know, I have to hand it to them. This is fantastic. You know, I don't have much to compare it to, but I won't need anything to compare it to. They have other great products like Crop Preserver. This is an anti-chafing ball deodorant. This makes you smell fresh all day long, whether you're working on a construction site, sitting at a desk, or going on a date. This is worth your time. God, I didn't have the logo face the camera. Crop Preserver. Zoom in on that, Ian, my editor. Yes. Saving myself time for later. Then they also have Crop Reviver, which is a ball toner, basically a body spray for your balls. Ball spray, if you will. Then they have these amazing comfy boxer shorts, which are actually washed for this promo, so I can show them to you. Here they are, they're boxer shorts. And also they have these disposable floor mats, which is great because it's got these little illustrations on them if you're able to read. And yeah, it's true, by the way. And you can get everything I just showed off in this Shed travel bag. This thing is really, really premium. It's got an internal zipper. It's really nice. It smells like Manscaped. I encourage you to go to their website and look up their other products, and if you do decide to buy anything, use code ONEBOOM for 20% off plus free shipping. They also have really great things like a foot deodorant and a cologne. These things smell amazing, and I do use them quite often. Those of you that have been subscribed for a while know that I'm picky as hell and I wouldn't promote anything that wasn't worth it, and honest to God, this stuff is worth it. So it makes for a great gift for yourself or for a loved one, or for your friend as a gag gift. I actually gave my friend some ball deodorant for Christmas. He thanked me. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and don't forget to use my promo code for 20% off plus free shipping. That's code ONEBOOM for 20% off plus free shipping. Get the fuck on with the commentary. It feels impossible to be good at FPS games anymore, and it feels even more impossible to get any props on good gameplay anymore, because when you do really well, people just say, you fought a group of noobs. And I haven't talked about this on the channel yet really because, well, I don't really want the backlash, but I'm kind of having a fuck it adjustment today and thinking to myself, what's the worst that can happen? Somebody writes a mean comment to me? Whatever. Look, every time somebody posts a really good clip on Twitter of, like, you know, they get a 6-man feed in Search and Destroy or something, you know, they're told that, well, I wish I had your enemies, or I wish my lobbies were that easy. And honestly, I can relate to that. I mean, I used to get a little irritated watching some of Level Cap's old gameplay. He'd go off in a TDM match in Battlefield 3 or 4 or whatever, and he would just get so many kills, and I'd watch his gameplay and I'd think, wow, I wish my enemies were this bad. You know, when you're fighting enemies and they're kicking your ass, you think that, God, you wish you had an easier lobby, or you wish you had the enemies that your favorite pub stomper could go against, because they're clearly going against worse enemies. And I think with video games, it's sort of harder to really discern skill from what you're watching. You know, it's really hard to see what you're watching as skill-based or proficient, because you might just think that the enemies are bad. And really, if you watch any sport or video game, it looks a lot less like somebody prevailing. It looks a lot more like other people are just not dealing with them properly. Like, they're just not putting up a fight, and so it makes whoever's doing the fighting look really good. Like, you watch football and go, why didn't they just tackle that guy? You watch boxing and you think, why doesn't he just, you know, block his hits? And it's like almost weird to watch. It's like everyone has this level of momentum, and as soon as it goes down to zero, they just get absolutely shellacked. The most recent example I have of this was I was playing Modern Warfare on PC, my first game on PC, and I used the gameplay to talk about why Modern Warfare on PC is so much better, and why the people that complain about aim assist have literally nothing to complain about if they play on a nice PC. Because, oh my god, Call of Duty's gunplay is so much easier on a mouse and keyboard than it is on a controller. Everything from recoil control to taking on multiple opponents to long range, you know, head glitcher shooting, it's so good. Then I see comments saying, well, you are fighting a group of dummies, and that's why you think you're so much better, or why PC's so much better. It was really funny to me because my team was actually losing. We actually lost the game, and those enemies kicked my ass a good amount of times, and I sort of edited out some of my really dumb deaths so that you guys didn't have to see them. And it was sad because I was like, wow, should I keep in all these deaths that I'm getting because otherwise it just looks like I'm stomping recruit bots? Well, a lot of things could be taken into account. I mean, in this gameplay, the enemies that I'm taking out and getting all these feeds on are people that are objective obsessed. They might not be bad, but they're clearly tunnel visioned on the objective, which is why I'm able to flank them and keep them off of it pretty damn easily. They're not really gunfight centered, and there are players out there that care so much about the objective that they don't actually work on their own gun skill, and they don't think about the enemies as being the main objective and the secondary objective being, let's say, the headquarters of the hardpoint. Sorry, the enemies are the main objective. They can't take it if they're dead. It's sort of a rule of war that you're not defending an objective, you're keeping enemies away from the objective, and that's a subtle yet important difference. Some people don't have that skill set, and that's one of the reasons I loved playing Hardpoint and Headquarters in Modern Warfare, is that when people get really obsessed with capping an objective, I can just shred them from the side angle that they're not watching, because all they want to see is the number go up on the hardpoint, or they want to see their team's points go up so badly that they'll let themselves get just massively flanked. Either way. I hate the idea that every time somebody shares a good piece of gameplay, they do well, they share a clip of like getting an 8-man feed or whatever, they're just told that those enemies are bad. Or Call of Duty players, they say, well, skill-based matchmaking probably fucked you up next game. And that's kind of funny because I actually did get kind of fucked up by what felt like skill-based matchmaking, and then I had some easier games after I got fucked up by it. And it just felt like, well, you know what? My good games are going to come after my bad games, or my bad games are going to come after my good games. That's just how it's going to work out. I can't do consistently well all the time. I mean, one of the main rules of FPS games is that somebody's going to be on a roll. When you play Modern Warfare for an evening, let's say you hop on, you want to play it for like 3 hours, you're going to end up bumping into somebody who's on a roll. All right? They have a good meal in their stomach, they're hydrated, they got a Red Bull, they're jacked up, they got their favorite weapon, they got some tunes playing, they're talking and joking around with their friends, they're not overthinking anything, and they're just in a flow state without even realizing it. And when you bump into that person, it's almost like they're hacking. It's terrifying to go up against somebody that is just chilled out and knows exactly how to handle your bullshit. So, like I'm saying, is it possible to have good games anymore, or are you just fighting bad players and that's the only reason you're doing well? Well, this is why lobby shopping can't really be a part of this conversation. Because if somebody's lobby shopping for enemies that are really bad, then yeah, they actually might not be that good of a player. But for the most part, I know for myself and some of the other people I talk to and YouTubers that I trust, they don't lobby shop. And they don't get to decide who they fight. So if that person ends up being bad, it's not just that they're bad, it's that they're worse than me. Or worse than the person they're fighting. You gotta look at it that way. At least that's how I'm trying to look at it. Because I don't like the idea that none of my good gameplay is earned. I'm simply benefiting from skill-based matchmaking, or I got a lucky lobby. No, I got into a lobby with people that are worse than me. I am their worst nightmare. And I might bump into somebody later that's my worst nightmare. There's always a bigger fish. Hierarchies exist for a reason, and I am certainly not at the top of it. So my success feels earned when my defeats really sting. Does that make sense? When my defeats feel so harsh and unforgiving, and there's streaks in the air, and my team's getting dominated, my friends are complaining, and it's all a mess. The games after that where I dominate enemies, those are still real people. Okay, they're not a collection of stats walking around bumping into walls. They are real people that can counter me and make decisions and throw me off. I mean, I've fought really bad players that have won. And my friends and I, it sounds really petty, but we'll sometimes say, those guys weren't even good. But sometimes they're just so unpredictable, or they abuse certain mechanics, and it allows them to win. And I can't even fault them. Back during Black Ops 3, I told people that if you are struggling against an enemy, they're clearly better, they have MLG level gun skill, and you're just a pleb, don't try to increase your gun skill that match if you really don't want to. If you are not centered on being the best player in the world, don't be afraid to just abuse trip mines and shock charges and your specialist weapon. Just Don't be afraid to throw them off their momentum with bullshit. Don't be afraid to camp in the corner with a shotgun. And you might be thinking, okay, that's disgusting, and you ruin FPS games. Maybe I do. But not everybody is trying out for major leagues. Some people are just average Joes, and they hop on in the evening and they want to play some Call of Duty. And I think that those people should not have to have a degree in Call of Dutyology to have a good match. So if you're getting your ass kicked, don't be afraid to kick their ass back in ways that seem unfair. Skill is so relative and personal and variable and weird. You know, I'm the better COD player out of all of my friends, but I'm not an amazing COD player. There's these crazy little hierarchies that form, and there's sub-hierarchies within those hierarchies, and it's confusing and weird, and I think when people try to converse about it, they oversimplify it. They think because I'm doing well, the enemies must just be bad, instead of me being just better than them. Yes, they might be bad, but that doesn't really matter. I don't choose who I get paired up with. I'm fighting people that the game set me up against, and I'm clearly better than them. So whether they're bad or not is not relevant to me in a match. What's relevant is if I am better than them. That's what matters. What matters is, can they put up a fight? Can they throw me off? Can they distract me? Can they confuse me? Can they play in a way that's hard for me to counter? Can they get cheeky with it and just ruin my play sessions with weird random bullshit? I mean, if I go against you and I'm dominating you and you decide, damn, I can't beat this guy's gun skill, you know, maybe you're a console pleb and maybe you don't like aim assist, so you play on a controller without aim assist and I have a mouse and keyboard, and you think, fuck, I can't beat this guy. Am I really gonna blame you if you hold a position and put down claymores, or you tack insert around the corner from where you're sitting so that after I kill you, I won't expect you to show up like around the corner with a shotgun in my mouth? That is interesting to me. I mean, the reason we play online games is because we don't want to just fight AIs all day. We want to have that human experience. And I think taking everything out of context, how this person performed that game, or how this person's stats look compared to mine, taking all of that and taking the human element out of it, I think is kind of sad. It's a little gross. It's a little creepy. Acting as if I'm just fighting these amalgamations of stats and playtime, and that I'm not actually fighting a real person that could counter me if they really put their mind to it. Because, and this is sort of an uplifting thought for the end of this video, you can put up a fight. It doesn't really matter. I mean, you might not want to have to put up as hard of a fight as skill-based matchmaking might make you put up, but you are more than stats, you are more than numbers, and good gameplay is good gameplay. As long as you didn't lobby shop for it, you're better than the person you're beating, and that's the most you can hope for. In fact, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that's all you can hope for. You're better than the person you were put up against. And maybe they're really good, but they're having a bad day. There are people that I know I could have beaten at the end of a game, but I was just tilted or hungry or tired, and I couldn't keep up. And how many times have you fought somebody that's really, really good, but they're just going for a weapon camo on a gun they don't like, and that's why they're losing gunfights they'd normally be winning if they were using something they were more comfortable with? Or maybe it's their first time back on in weeks. You don't know. There's a human element here that doesn't want to be discussed. And I think that's, well, I think we avoid talking about the humanity behind this stuff at our own peril. And I don't mean to be dramatic, but it's dehumanizing to assume that no one's allowed to win because of the stats, because of the matchmaking. And honest to God, if you're doing well, it's because it paired you up against bad people. And if you're doing poorly, it's because it paired you up with people that are better than you. And there's nothing you can do. There's no variable there. It's just the numbers. You know, it's impossible that I tilted them by taking out all their momentum early in the game and then dominating them for their mistakes afterwards. That's impossible because their stats are X, Y, and Z, and my stats are X, Y, and Z, and that's the reasoning there. You know, I don't like that. Anyway, see you when I see you guys. Goodbye.